Not every evening starts off with a shower, but I do find it's a nice way to wash away your troubles and your cares from the day. Today was hair care day, and I thought I would share with you some of the products that I like to use on my sensitive skin quite regularly. I found that these are quite safe to use and they don't irritate my scalp in any way. And also this Pure Clay exfoliating scrub smells amazing and does wonders for the skin on my face. Speaking of scents, I find that they play a very important role in telling my brain that it's time to switch off and start relaxing. So I've been using a lot of essential oils in my diffuser to achieve this. After the shower, I apply my moisturizer and my prescribed creams for my eczema and give myself a little bit of a massage at the same time. After that's done, I like to pick out my pajamas for the evening. I do try and make sure that I have all natural fibers because of my skin, and this set just happens to match with a set that my hubby has, which makes it a little bit more cute. Once I'm dressed, I finish up with my hair care routine, which involves putting in some Moroccan oil as well as some leave-in hair conditioner. I was pleasantly surprised after finishing my hair care routine to see that my hubby was cooking banana bread in the kitchen. It's nice to see him out of the office and in the kitchen from time to time, seeing as he does spend quite a lot of time in front of computer screens, whether that be for work, for programming, or for gaming. In an ideal world, I would love to have absolutely no screen time in my evening routine, but TV does play a big role in helping me wind down and relax. So unfortunately, there are screens and exposure to blue light, but sometimes it can't be helped. My hubby doesn't do a lot of cooking, but I think he should do quite a bit more because he's actually really good at it. He makes these brilliant banana breads, even though they are from a packet. I mean, they taste way better than what I could make. And when he makes dinner, it's absolutely delicious. He usually just throws some things together and it comes out this amazing new dish that I've never had before. Even though he's working from home and I get to walk in and speak to him whenever I feel like it during the day, I do realize that he's working. So having this time after work to spend together, whether that be cooking or watching TV or playing a game, is really special and precious, and I do try and cherish it. I realize how lucky I am to have someone who loves me and supports me in everything I do, and also who, cooks me banana bread from time to time.
Tell them about my theory on cooking temperatures.
I haven't told them that.
Theory is, it's not theory, it's fact. Everything is cooked at 180 degrees.
With the sun starting to set and the room getting darker, it's time to set the mood by turning the lights on. I have these 2 RGB lamps that I love to turn on every night, and of course I have my fairy light vines that I love to turn on every evening and just make the place look so cozy, comforting, inviting and relaxing. Next, it was time to get a start on dinner, and to do that I thought I would make myself a nice cool drink. This one is peached iced tea. Dinner was leftover Thai food from the previous night, so all I needed to do was cook some rice and make a little bit of chutney to go with the food that we had. I decided to go with basmati rice. I don't think you can go wrong with basmati rice. It's rice that I've grown up on and eaten for the past 32 years of my life here on earth, and it tastes absolutely delicious. I will say that I only just figured out how to make the perfect rice very, very recently. Here I'm making 2 cups of rice, and so I'm adding 3 cups of water. If I only wanted to make 1 cup of rice, I'd have 1.5 cups of water. It makes the most perfect fluffy rice every time. Next I'm making an old family favourite, chutney pomme d'amour. It is a Mauritian condiment, if you will. I mean, people say it's a condiment. I would eat it as a full dish on its own because it's that delicious. But yes, it is only supposed to go on the side and as a adjunct to whatever it is you're eating. As you can see, I have a lot of the ingredients already prepared and pre-chopped. This is something that really assists with my ability to cook and prepare meals living with my ADHD brain. The less steps and the less effort that I have to go through in preparing meals, the more likely I am going to cook something. It just makes it a lot easier and a lot less overwhelming if things are pretty much ready to go and there's very little preparation involved. You may be thinking, but Louise, you had to prepare all of this earlier so that way it made it easier for you now. That's true, but what I did was I chopped all the vegetables and put them in little containers at the same time while I was preparing other vegetables. So it was like I was doing a task of just cutting vegetables at that time, as opposed to a big thing like preparing a meal. So it made it a lot easier. That might sound a little bit confusing or a little bit weird, but hey, it's just the way I trick my brain into cooking food and making sure that I'm well fed. Chutney pomme d'amour, like I said, is a very delicious condiment. If you are interested in learning how to make this for yourself to eat with your meals at home, I will put a very brief recipe down in the description box below. Cleaning as I go has also helped make sure that there hasn't been a huge stack of dishes which becomes overwhelming to clean later on. As I mentioned earlier, we had leftover Thai food for dinner. We had some pad see ew with beef and some Penang curry with beef. When I order takeaway, I try and order a little bit extra because it allows me to have another meal for the next day. It stops me from worrying and thinking too much about what it is I'm going to feed myself for either breakfast, lunch or dinner the next day, which can be very stressful and very taxing on my limited brain resources and energy.
Flavor curry.
What's that name? Well, I tried.
Is it pepper?
Yeah,
I like it there.
when I made the chutney.
Well, maybe when you're deciding how you're going to add the pepper, you should ponder more. So, come up with good solutions. Is that good?
I do realise though that takeaway is very expensive and I don't necessarily have money to be spending on it every evening. We usually only order it once a week and we try and make it last for as long as we possibly can. I don't know what it is about me, but I am always making a mess, which can be very frustrating because I like to be clean and I like my environment to be as clean and tidy as possible. So I do find that I'm always constantly cleaning up after myself. Let me know if this is a problem for you and if you've come up with any solutions in the comments below. My husband and I usually sit in front of the TV and eat dinner. We've done this ever since we've been together. I think it's because we as children were not allowed to sit in front of the TV and eat dinner, and now that we're fully grown adults we can do what we want, this is how we choose to eat our meals. It might be a little antisocial and it might be a little less mindful when it comes to eating and making sure that you enjoy the meal that you're eating. But I do love my TV, and TV is a very important part in helping me wind down and relax and switch off to get ready for bed and sleep. TV does something to my brain. It interrupts whatever thought process is going on and helps it completely empty out and be quiet, which is a nice break from it constantly chattering away and whirring away and just bombarding me with thought all the time. A little later in the evening, I decided to brush my hair so it actually looked nice and decent for the next day as opposed to a wild matted mess. I find that my hair can do that if I just leave it to do its own thing. I then packed my bag for the next day. I made sure that I had absolutely everything that I needed for work. There are two things that I have put in place to ensure that I don't leave anything behind and make sure that I bring everything that I possibly need. One is to make sure that I have dedicated bags for each thing that I do, whether that be working at Luna Park or working as a physio, working for my own business, etc. Most of the items that are required to do that thing live inside that bag, and then that bag has a place that it lives within my house. That way there are only very few items that I have to pack when I'm preparing to do that thing for the next day, and I make sure that I leave the bag a little bit open so I know that I still have more items to pack, whether it be my drink bottle or my lunchbox for the next day. The other thing is I set out my clothes for the next day, especially if I have work or some other appointment that I need to be on time to. It makes the morning super efficient and hassle-free, and it makes me feel confident that I'm going to be able to make it to wherever it is I need to be on time. We're coming towards the end of the evening now. Me and my hubby watched a movie just before bed. I do try and get to bed before 9:30 most nights, but it doesn't always happen. I also got to enjoy a nice cup of tea and my hubby's delicious banana bread for dessert. The last thing I do before settling into bed for the night is brush my teeth. It's important to me to make sure that the bedroom is as dark as it possibly can be. We recently bought these beautiful grey curtains from IKEA, and they have been helping a treat in keeping the light from the street out at night and also out in the morning. It's a little bit ad hoc the way that they were set up, but it does the job. I also make sure that the bedroom is nice and cool. I set the air conditioning on in the house at about 21 to 22 degrees Celsius, and I let it run for maybe an hour and a half before we go to bed, and then it usually runs for 6 to 7 hours whilst we're asleep at night. After that, I prepare the bed itself by taking off the decorative pillows and pulling back the sheets. Just before settling in, I take my ADHD medication. At the moment, I'm taking Catapray. It's for emotional regulation. I've only been taking it for about 2 months now, and I'm not exactly sure it's working. It does take some time to kick in, so I have my fingers crossed that this one will work for me. Next, I follow up with a little bit of gratitude journaling. I do try and do this every evening, but again, I don't always get to bed on time, so I do sometimes miss out. Practicing gratitude every day is a way to recognize the opportunities that I've been given and the privilege that I have living this life. And it helps me to really appreciate and take stock of all the things that I have done, seen, and been a part of. It definitely makes me realize that life is precious and that No moment should be wasted. Everything should be lived to the fullest it can be. The last thing I do before I go to bed is do a little bit of reading. At the moment, I'm reading War of the Worlds. I know it's not the most relaxing book, but I do find that once my imagination starts going, I start to fall asleep. Just before turning the lights off, I do have one more thing that I do before I go to bed, and that's to sprinkle some water mixed with essential oil onto my pillow. This one is a essential oil that I got from Dusk, similar to the meditation oil that I showed earlier. And then finally, I'm ready to turn the lights out and head off to the land of Nod. That's all I have for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, please click the like button, and if you haven't subscribed, I'd love it if you would subscribe as well. I hope you're feeling nice and relaxed and ready to nod off yourself. I'm looking forward to making the next video for you all. Until then, peace out.